Welcome to Hold On to Your Butts, the podcast about how the biggest show on earth lost its bite. Although, every subsequent episode we do, I think that less and less, because we've talked to a lot of people who love Jurassic Park, and I think it might be as hot and relevant as ever.
Won them over in 2 episodes, everybody.
Although, I mean, maybe we just do one of my favorite segments right here off the bat. What did your wife think of this movie that we're about to talk about? My wife, she loved the first one. Didn't put in her contact lenses for Jurassic Park 2.
Interesting.
I mean, sorry, excuse me. The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
There you go.
And then later, when she sat next to me and put in her contacts, she specifically told me, this is not so I can watch the movie. This is so I can start my day.
Jesus Christ.
She was not interested at all. At all.
Yeah, I had to... Well, my wife did take off her glasses while we were in bed watching it, so she wasn't as into it as well.
Yeah.
But she kept being like, I didn't remember this guy was in the movie. I didn't remember this guy was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So many... This is the movie you don't remember anyone was in.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
Lost World, more like Lost Actor. I'm
Anyway.
a dinosaur.
Wait, no, I was going to do I want to do the song. I want to do the song.
Sorry,
I'm Paul. I'm Paul.
And I'm JD.
Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Hold on to your butts. A Jurassic Park rewatch podcast.
Oh, I had a whole bit for the song. Fuck. What was it going to be?
Do you want me to play it? Or?
No. I don't need it. That would hurt, actually.
Yeah, to have the actual thing.
Tyrannosaurus, T-Rex. It's a T-Rex running at my butt. It's a T-Rex with its claws. Gonna bite me with its big sharp claws.
That's the wrong Steven Spielberg.
That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for you.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Anyway, hey, it's our
I think
sort of our third episode.
Yeah, it is our third episode. This will be the third episode.
I would say in the mainline stream of our movie franchise rewatch, it's a rewatch podcast. So technically the book reading episode isn't
adjacent.
That's not, the fans are going to be pissed, you know, on the Hold On to Your Butts wiki. The reading episode that was very fun.
We just did about
Evan.
the book. Yeah, Evan Johnson. You should check it out if you are interested at all about what the book is about or what happens in the book versus what happens in the movie.
Yeah, and also some of our thoughts on Stephen King and vampires.
Yeah, it ended up being like
a lot about Stephen King.
A lot about 80s, what'd you call it? 80s white guys?
White guy 80s writers.
Yeah, it was very interesting, I thought.
It was fun. But this is our second, maybe possibly third episode. Third in the feed, second in your hearts.
Yeah, well.
We watched The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Yes.
The second Jurassic Park movie, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Might be the only, I think it's the only sequel he's directed. Well, I mean, he did the, and I watched a special features thing where he talked about,
Doom?
He did do, well, he categorizes those as something different. Steven Spielberg categorizes those as not a sequel. They are a series of movies. That's Spielberg's take. All right. And he has the final say, I'm sure, on whether he did a sequel or not.
He's box office magic, baby. He can do whatever he wants.
I don't know about this one, man. This one was not as good as the last one, I felt like.
Okay.
Diminishing returns.
I think I felt the same way.
Well, I mean, you can't match the spectacle of that first one. The first one was just such magic. Mm-hmm. The first time you see the CG working in real life, you see the dinosaurs in real life, you are as amazed as the actors and as the characters in this book. And then coming back to it.
I mean, I'm not.
In the movie.
I'm not. The characters in the book are experiencing the reality of dinosaurs being brought back into the real world. Mm-hmm. I'm watching a movie about people experiencing that. I'm not. I'm feeling some wonder and awe. I'm being pedantic. I'm sorry. I agree with you. The sheen was a little bit less lustrous on the whole idea of a Jurassic Park where there are dinos in the real world. And there's this company that wants to make money by selling tickets to an amusement park featuring dinos.
Again, a lot like the first one.
Yeah, although, similar. I mean, that's a big topic. I don't know. We talked about how we want to change the format of the show a little bit. I prepared a little bit of just a plot summary. Yeah, I thought that might be nice.
Yeah. Instead of going scene by scene like we did and then burning out halfway through.
Some of those scenes suck.
No, just not as exciting as the others.
JD?
I don't think they suck. They just were. What?
Admit it.
I'm not going to. Scenes, I don't.
They suck?
No.
Some of those scenes?
I don't think so.
All right. The script? No. I was going to say the plot. It's based on a script by a guy named David Cope, Koepp, same guy who wrote the script for the first one, based on a novel by Michael Crichton. Again, like the first one. Crichton, I think he only wrote a sequel because they wanted another movie.
Yeah, I mean, Spielberg even told him, he's like, "Hey, make sure you keep one of the characters alive because we're doing a sequel.
Give me Jeff Goldblum again."
Yeah, basically.
give me Goldblum. And then so the plot that he came up with was 4 years after the disaster on Isla Nublar. After that disaster ends John Hammond's dream of a Jurassic Park, Hammond has had a full change of heart. He still operates this company called InGen when he calls Ian Malcolm, the rock star mathematician, into his office. Malcolm, now discredited after failing to convince the world of the existence of dinos, is now invited to lead a team to a place called Site B, the dino cloning site run by this Hammond's company, InGen, on a different island 80 miles away from Isla Nublar, an island called Isla Sorna. And I'll tell you, JD, I sorta miss the other island.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be disappointed in the next movie.
Are they on Sorna again?
Yep.
Honestly, why not the same island? Does it really need to be another?
Because there had to be a Site B. Because in the book, they destroy it, which we talked about in the book episode. Well, I don't think we did episode. Actually, but they bombed the Costa Rican government just bombs the island.
Is that in the book?
Yeah.
Ooh, I thought I read it. Anyway, Site B, where the dino cloning facility has now been overrun. It's now, the dinos are running wild, and Hammond wants to show the world that the nature preserve.
But it's like a true,
it's like a real ecosystem.
Yeah.
More natural. Dino's good. Meanwhile, Hammond's nephew has his own secret plans and plots. He's trying to take over InGen, and Ian Malcolm has a group of dudes, Vince Vaughn, Richard Schiff, and then they go and meet Malcolm's girlfriend. What's her name? Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore's character, Dr. Sarah Harding.
Yeah, so they all meet up on the island. They're doing like a...
He tricks him.
It's a trick.
Yeah, do you think... Okay, hot take. Hammond masterminded this because he hates... In the first movie, he hates Jeff Goldblum. And now he tricks him back to going back to the island by taking his girlfriend there first. Getting his girlfriend to go, and then he gets Jeff Goldblum to go back to the island because he wants
Why would he want Goldblum to go back?
Because he wants him to die because he hates him. Because he was
die?
I think so. I think because he was like, I really hate that man. I mean, he's at this point, cruelest he gets or meanest or whatever he gets in that movie, which we know he got watered down from the book. Yeah, because Steven Spielberg saw himself in that character. Is that he says, I really hate that man. Yeah. And he's saying that about Jeff Goldblum's character.
I really hate that man.
Yeah.
I really hate that man.
Yeah. And so much so that he tricks his girlfriend to go into the island and to get him back on to die.
Yeah. So I don't know if I think it's a trick. I mean, I think the whole plot is very confused of what Malcolm is doing and where Malcolm is at.
Malcolm is just going to save his girlfriend. He's on a rescue mission, he says.
Yeah, he does say that. That's what he's doing. So then they go and they meet up with Julianne Moore, and then, whoa, what are these helicopters with dudes here?
Yeah, InGen sends another team.
And they're there to capture the dinos because Hammond's nephew, Ludlow, the true villain, wants to bring dinos to San Diego for a Jurassic Park exhibition.
Can Ludlow wear a suit or what? Did you think... I saw those suits and I was like... Is this a good suit? Because he does mention that the suit costed more than Ian Malcolm's education.
Does he?
He does, yeah, because he grabs him to like talk to him,
Let me find a picture of Ludlow. Ludlow did not really grab me as a villain. He was just kind of like Hammond light.
British, conqueror dude.
Let me find a picture of him and his suit. Was it double-breasted?
It was very baggy, is what I remember.
I think he had a vest at one point at the end. Does. Yeah, I've got one where there's like a pattern. It's like a brown, beige.
Here we go, right here. Boom.
It's fine.
I mean, yeah. Well,
It's
I mean, it's
fine.
interesting. It's a 4-button suit. He's got 3 buttons here. I'm a big into fashion. I don't know if the listeners know.
Yeah. Let's take a
but
step
I'm very-
into JD's fashion closet
yeah,
for a
let's
little
step into the
review of the
fashion
outfits.
closet.
We'll do
Because
Goldblum next.
Because I'm following this guy is OK Oki or something like that on Instagram. You should check him out. He talks about he's like a British dude who like tailors suits, makes suits. And he's always talking about how like he hates the trend that things got more tailored, and he's saying a classic suit should have like a silhouette, and this is baggy. But I'm just like, is this guy wearing fancy suits badly, or is this a nice suit that, or like, is it a cheap suit that they put on a guy to make him look rich?
He doesn't look that rich to me. There's not a lot about this guy that says rich. You know, the
I mean,
look,
he's supposed to
the
be rich.
character
He's running a
design.
company.
I know the premise, like the role is a rich guy, but like, you know, is he wearing a nice watch? Is he wearing like, is he got, what's rich about him? Like his haircut's not that good. Is like,
He's got no hair, so
this also balding guys in this movie. Balding Richard Schiff dies first.
This guy,
and then balding villain, another 90s touch. We talked about the fat character being the villain in the first one.
Yeah.
Balding guys get their moment.
I just didn't think the suit fit well. If he was supposed to be that rich, it should have fit better. But that might be my millennial thing of like wanting more of a tapered suit, which isn't the classic suit look, which old money, which he comes from, would be doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so give us your thoughts.
All right. Well, let's take a step outside of JD's fashion closet.
We're out of the closet now.
Back to the plot summary. Hijinks ensue in the jungle. These two groups meet. Allegiances shift. Dino action erupts. And then at a certain point, some of the dinos are captured, brought back to
only one.
America. 2.
Ah, right. 2 of the same dinosaur.
2. I'm not fucking up any details this episode.
But I mean, there's that whole thing where they capture a bunch of different dinosaurs, but then they all get released by Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their secret weapon that Hammond brought was a guy who had a bolt cutter.
So weird.
Did you like that scene?
Yeah.
Should we finish the summary and then get into our pick and nits?
I feel like we got that's the summary. That's the movie, right?
Yeah.
The
T-Rex gets to San Diego.
Yeah.
Chaos ensues.
The San Diego incident.
Yeah, San Diego incident. Okay, yeah. So I mean, since we're talking about Vince Vaughn, yeah. So they send 2 teams. Vince Vaughn's supposed to be this, which
young,
no one even remembers is in the movie.
Slim Vince.
Yeah, young, not being charming like you want him to be. I
mean,
he
didn't get any motor mouth.
He got famous from his role in Swingers.
Swingers.
So for being that motor mouth guy.
He was Money Baby.
Yeah, and I mean, he did do the a Psycho remake. He was in like a shot-for-shot Psycho remake that
interesting
that Wes Craven did.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was one of the main characters. Or he was Bates. He was Norman Bates, and so he's a good actor. I think this is when he was trying to prove to everybody he's not just a motor mouth. He's got like chops.
I mean, he was trying to make it. He was trying to get whatever he could. Is it funny? Is it serious? Whatever clicks. And I think what clicked with Vince was funny.
Right.
I mean, this movie was not.
This was like nothing charming about Vince Vaughn in this movie. Yeah.
I think they cast him because the thing about this movie is like in the first one, the star is Alan Grant, Sam Neill as Alan Grant, and the love interest, the secondary lead, is Laura Dern as Dr. Ellie Sattler. Mm-hmm. And in the second movie, those 2 characters have been dumped. They do not appear. They're not mentioned. I don't think. They're just out unceremoniously kicked to the beaches of Isla Nublar to await their helicopter rescue. And Malcolm is the lead, formerly our, eccentric, cool, mysterious, tertiary character delivering us chaos theory bitlets is now our lead. And he's got way more responsibilities. And then I think Vince Vaughn is kind of the secondary, like the cool guy. Where you're
Vince
you're not
Vaughn
sure who is
supposed to be taking the Jeff Goldblum role of like the snarky,
zingers.
Yeah, zinger guy.
He's got his own fresh perspective of like, I'm going to win a Pulitzer for this shit.
Yeah. So Swingers was 96, Jurassic Park Lost World 97. So this is before the Psycho remake, I think.
I wonder if Spielberg had seen Swingers.
Psycho remake is after this.
You think Spielberg saw Swingers and cast him in this? Because he didn't give any of the same energy.
No. But I think he's one of those characters that suffered from like being because his character shows different like aspects to him, because he just is introduced to us as like a photographer, a National Geographic, Greenpeace, whatever. He's like, yeah, last year was being charitable. This year's about making money. I'm going to do this. And then he's like, why'd you do Greenpeace? He's like, for the women. It's all women, dude.
Yeah.
Ladies. I'm a ladies man. That's the swingers part.
I guess so.
That's all Steven Spielberg said. He's a ladies man. That's what that's what you recognize. I think he's a master at knowing like cultural shorthand. He's like, this guy's a ladies man. He's from this movie we all know him from. But well, Spielberg also, he's known for discovering people. He discovered Vin Diesel and put him in Saving Private Ryan. He discovered someone else. I know there's
Vin Diesel.
There's a different one, but I can't recall the example that was given.
Vin Diesel does rock. Put Vin in a
Vin Diesel does rock.
Oh my God! Put Vin in a Jurassic Park movie.
There was a talk of a Jurassic Park Fast and Furious crossover. There's been talk.
That's a great idea.
Well, I mean, no spoilers.
Would Vin ride a dino?
Probably. And he'd make it family.
Yeah. T-Rex's family.
This is my uncle. It's a T-Rex. Uncle Rex. Yeah, they refer to an Uncle Rex the whole time, and then
it's a fucking T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex, dude.
On Isla Nublar.
Yeah, he's like, my uncle lives on an island.
There are a lot of car chases in Jurassic Park.
Yes. And, I mean, no spoilers for the last movie. The last movie is basically dinosaurs meets Mission Impossible.
Please no spoilers for the last movie.
It's going more in that direction.
We're talking about the Lost World : Jurassic Park.
Okay, well, you brought in Vin Diesel. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I got excited. Okay. I got excited because I love Vin.
Well, I would love to see you do.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, you are Groot, huh?
I'm not. I don't know.
You're not a fan of his voiceover?
I'm not Groot.
You're like, I got to see that face.
I like Triple X.
Oh, I thought of you as more of a, what's the one where he can't see? He's in the dark.
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
Also good. Yeah. Also good.
Yeah, so this is right after Swingers. Boom. Vince Vaughn gets in. Okay, yeah. So they have his arc, and then when the second team comes, he's like, "Oh, Hammond told me this might happen." He's like, "So he sent a backup plan or like a safety." And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Me." And he's just like taking apart a bolt cutter,
presumably to like free the dinos that Hammond knows that his nephew is trying to capture.
Yeah, yeah. So they let them all free.
Those guys have so many guns, and like they're well armed and well equipped, and
and they send Vince Vaughn, and then he shows no other Mission Impossible type prowess. He kind of postures to one of the guy who gets eaten by the copies at one point. He's like, "You looking for trouble?" He's like, "I found you," and then they push each other, but that's it. And then he takes the bullets out of the guy's gun, the Robert Muldoon stand-in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall his name.
The hunter, Pete Postlethwaite. Yeah, I think it's Pete Postlethwaite. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the character's name. Roland. Roland. Yeah, because Roland's whole thing, and there's some deleted scenes with Roland as well, where him and which I think is his gay lover, the Ajax guy.
Another great theory.
They hang out all the time. They love each other.
Totally unnecessary theory, but sure.
I think they throw some gay stuff in Jurassic Park in the later movies as well. You'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Can't wait. No spoilers. Okay. We're talking about the Lost World.
Yes. So I think
Jurassic
him
Park.
and Ajax are they're a couple. They hunt and look. Sorry. No, they hunt and love each other. Okay. His name's Ajax, right?
I don't know.
AJ.
I didn't.
AJ.
The names of the characters in this one are like not. They didn't click with me like the first. I mean, these characters are just like. It's not like Alan Grant and Dr. Ellie Sattler are like great, larger than life characters, but the characters in this second one are just like so clearly like cardboard cutouts of types. Yeah, and there's so much more of them.
Well, that's the thing is, I think this movie's doing too much. That's why I don't like it. It's doing way too much. It's not, hey, let's just get away from the dinosaurs. We're being chased by dinosaurs, which is the funnest part of all the Jurassic Park movies.
You think?
To me, yes.
I feel like the fun part is the mix of the action and the sort of like the cutting edge science and philosophy of the genetics and the chaos theory. that Ian Malcolm brought in the first one and like literally brings up 0 times in the second one.
Just so everyone knows, I'm bounding as Ian Malcolm right here, just so you get it.
We can address JD's out. Let's step back into JD's fashion closet.
Sorry, you stepped out too quickly. I didn't get to address everything I didn't get to do.
You've chosen not to reveal your entire chest.
I want the viewers to know, well, because he wears a crew neck in the second movie.
I guess that's true. He looked worse in the second one.
Yeah, he did. Jeff Goldblum's glow down, maybe. Mm-hmm. Fame got to his head.
Mm-hmm.
He shaved it. Yeah, his haircut doesn't look as good. He's not wearing the glasses. He got LASIK. He went Hollywood.
He didn't have any good lines.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I think suffers from this movie. You took the guy who had all the quips and the fun person, your favorite character from the first one, because he wasn't the main character, so he could throw in the zingers. And you made him I'm saying I'm even doing his.
You made him into
the main character. Yeah, and he's just not. And he's still trying to be funny. Like he's there trying to give him quips. Mm-hmm. Like when they get on the island, they're going Sarah, which I thought was weird to hear Jeff Goldblum scream. Wasn't that was jarring.
A little odd.
It is very out of character for Goldblum.
It's a giant fucking island,
right?
And what are you gonna just get on there and yell her name? Like,
well, they did find her bag in there, so she might be close.
I guess.
So. But he goes and then Vince Vaughn's character goes Sarah Harding. And then he goes, how many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
Yeah.
And then later there's a callback when they're calling for him, when they're calling for Vince Vaughn's character, Nick. And they're going, Nick. And then Jeff Goldblum goes, Nick Van Owen.
I didn't notice that.
I noticed that the second time I watched it.
That's funny.
This week. Okay, so Vince Vaughn's character takes the bullets out.
How many times you watched it in the last month?
Last month?
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
So he takes out the bullets out of Vince Vaughn takes the bullets out of Roland's gun. So when he's trying to shoot the dinosaur when they're all getting eaten at the end, he can't shoot him. And then at the end, when they're in the helicopter, he has the bullets and he's like, "Oh, I took care of that." He just like throws it down on the ground, and then you never see his character again. Yeah. So I think he had a bigger role, and they took it back. They cut him down a lot.
Yeah, we didn't see him in San Diego at all.
Yeah, and it's all just and that's because there was the third act was going to be the helicopter gets attacked by pterodactyls. Oh. There's going to be a whole scene. There was a whole thing they had scripted out, but then here's some weird controversies. Spielberg knew there probably was going to be a third movie, and I think at the book that's when they wanted to bring the dinos into San Diego or like to the human world, but he didn't want anyone else to be able to do that, so he shoehorned them bringing the dinosaur back to San Diego in the last act of the second movie.
Really?
And that's why it's so jarring. All these characters get dropped. It's only Jeff Goldblum and the bad guy and Julianne Moore. That's like the big 3 at the end.
That third act really is like its own standalone thing.
Yeah, it's a different movie.
I think that's maybe that's where I can reveal the answer to one of our regular questions, which is, at what point did you realize you'd already seen this one?
Okay.
Which was, in this case, it was actually during the T-Rex, the trailer hanging over scene. Like when the trailer is like hanging off the cliff.
Yeah.
Which is such an obvious, like, let's try to do the T-Rex attack from the first movie again.
Right, yeah, you want to hit the same
rain.
beats.
It's the same part of the movie. It's like there's T-Rexes, they're showing up. There's
2 now.
There's 2. And then
they kill another guy.
Richard Schiff dies. But that part, it was so vivid. I was like, I've definitely seen this before. And then the other thing was the entire third act was like, I know all of this. I know they get the baby's the bait. The bad guy dies. Like, that was so vivid, but nothing else stuck with me from the whole movie.
I have this very vivid memory of going to spend the night at my friend's house, and this movie had just come out, and his parents were watching it, and me being totally bored at this point, being like, this is going on too long.
Really?
Yeah, or just like being like, I would rather be doing something else at this point, but like we're all watching it together, and like,
yeah,
it just was like, all right, I'm ready to do something else.
There's something about that, like that middle third. Like I actually like the premise of the sequel.
Yes.
The idea of the sequel where there's been some like corporate intrigue, like battling for control of the company, and Hammond is now the person who's trying to protect the dinos.
He went from a capitalist to naturalist, as they say that multiple times.
Which is such a nice like line, and it's such I just felt natural for the character. So I like that premise, but then like the middle third of just like rehashed dino action, weird little like bits and shtick, like another kid randomly shows up for no reason.
His daughter gets shoehorned in there.
Yeah, there's a dog. I mean,
I'm your daughter all the time, you know.
Yeah. And then also
quirky girl.
My other beef with it is that there's no arc for Malcolm. I think the core reason why he was not an effective lead in this movie was where in the first one we have Grant and Sattler. They're kind of will they or won't they. Grant doesn't like kids. He hates the first kid. He bullies the kid. And then by the end, he's like taking care of the kids. The kids like him. Mm-hmm. He's gotten some warmth to him. He appreciates humanity in a new way.
Yeah.
Through his experience with dinos. Whereas in the second one, like there's hints of them trying to set this up with Malcolm, like his daughter at one point, I could have sworn they were setting up an arc here where the daughter's like, you never do what you say you're going to do.
Right. You never keep your word.
You never keep your word.
Yeah.
I could have sworn at the end there was going to be some moment where like he says, I'll come back for you. And she's like, you never do. And then he does. And it's like, oh, you did.
Yeah. And then they just, the last scene with them is like they're asleep on the couch. Yeah. And she's just like watching the news report at the end.
Yeah.
It ends with a news report.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's so weird.
Yeah. It's like the first one was so good. How did this one fall so far?
Let's talk about that. Because there is, I think the question of what to do with a sequel to Jurassic Park is an interesting one.
No.
Because as we've seen in the last 20 years, what they have chosen to do is a new crew of people, new cutout characters.
But filling the same roles in a way.
Generally filling the same roles, go to the island, encounter dinos, there's chases, there's violence, and then they escape. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what a Jurassic Park movie is now. But that was a question.
Open and kill, same thing.
That was a question that Michael Crichton was trying to answer when he had the assignment of like, do another one so we can make another movie. And make
I heard he was kind of reluctant to do it.
That's what Wikipedia said. So here's the quote from Crichton. He claimed that a sequel was, quote, a very difficult structural problem because it has to be the same but different. If it's really the same, then it's the same. And if it's really different, then it's not a sequel. So it's in some funny intermediate territory.
Yeah. Yeah, this was trying to be the same but different.
Yeah.
And failed at both. Well, no, I mean, it succeeded, but not in like a cookie cutter way, I guess.
It felt cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So many of the scenes were different. Like the premise of them going to the island, I don't know. I thought about this a lot. Like I told you I had a pitch for my own Jurassic Park.
Yeah, do you want to do that now or you want to wait till we've seen them all?
Now would be a great time.
Okay.
Now would be
I'm all ears.
Time. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me pull it up. I was really proud of this when I thought of this, and I haven't actually looked
Paul's
at
it. Paul's been hinting at his great ideas for a sequel since we...
When I thought of it, I texted you. I was so fucking psyched. I was like, this is $1 million idea.
And I was like, well, they've already made 6 sequels.
I know. So they might have actually already done this.
And I'm excited to hear whether they did or not, or elements are part of it.
Okay, so I'm going to try to present this best I can, all right? We open in a world in which humans and dinosaurs live together and have done so for so long that it is simply banal.
Okay.
Some people keep compies as pets. Some people ride dinos. It's really not a big deal.
Interesting.
Coexistence, happiness, no problems at all. Mm-hmm. Our lead character, an adult Lex.
Oh, okay.
She was a hacker as a kid.
Yeah.
Now she is a professional corporate cybersecurity expert.
Okay.
She does what's known as red hat jobs, which is where cybersecurity people test cybersecurity systems. They're hired by corporations to come in and do hacks to try to find loopholes. So she gets a mysterious offer from a mysterious someone, maybe in Japan. And we ultimately learn it's Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay.
The aged Ian Malcolm, who is now into technology in the same way that he was into chaos theory. And
always on the cutting edge.
He's always on the cutting edge, but now he's kind of like, he's gotten a little bit high on his own farts, you know, and he's the villain of the story. So what he has done is he has created a new amusement attraction that he wants her to do a red hat operation on. So he is luring her, he's getting her into this park. And then what you learn is it's a cyberpunk amusement park. And what the story is about is TikTok algorithms and an immersive cyberpunk experience. So it's a movie that kind of plays out like The Matrix, but mixed with Jurassic Park. So you sit in some chairs and you get yourself jacked into this cyberpunk world, this digital cyberspace, and she enters this physical space, and this is how the movie plays out. She then enjoys the experience of this weird new cyber noir world. And at that point, she encounters the villain of this world, which is T. Rex, an AI, an AI that learns every user's habits and lures them into their own adventure inside the world. And this is something that Malcolm created, but it gets rogue. It goes rogue. It's too powerful. It learns people, and that's the premise.
Okay.
So the AI gone rogue creates all of these like threats to Lex, our grown
threats.
up, perhaps dino threats.
Okay, so
perhaps cyber threats. Maybe the AI comes and looses some dinosaurs in the real world that interact with this cyberpunk world in interesting ways.
Interesting.
Cyber world.
It is very interesting. Yes.
Cyber world. That's my pitch. So in the same way that Jurassic Park was about like the cutting edge technology of the time and the philosophy of the time, it's about our world and our threats.
Right.
And an entirely different milieu and visual experience.
I like it. I think it's cool.
Fuck yeah,
It's not
man.
Jurassic Park though.
Well, this is the Crichton problem.
I know
it's
exactly.
Different.
That's why I would never. I mean, I like it. I do think it's great, but that's why they would never do it.
Yeah,
because they're like, "Where are the dinosaurs?"
The dinos are kind of like you'd have to figure out creative ways to get them into there.
They're like, "Where are the raptors? Yeah. When do the raptors attack?
When does the raptors open a door handle?
Yeah. When does the T-Rex come and eat a guy?
Are we going to see a silhouette of a T-Rex eat a guy?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But
I do like that. I mean, that is a very great idea. And very good.
You like Malcolm as the villain is cool
Malcolm's
too.
coming around. He's lived long enough to be the villain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Goldblum would fucking love that too.
He does play.
He would eat it.
He plays a bad guy in some movie about like a hotel where he's like a mob kingpin. Have you seen this?
Interesting. No, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but his like I'm just angry and like crazy. It works very well with his demeanor. Can't remember exactly what it was called.
I mean, think about some of the great lines like life finds a way.
Yeah.
Like it's just like putting all that up against AI and like algorithms and getting people kind of sucked into a digital world. Oh, it's got that. It's got a little bit of that same kind of intrigue.
Hotel Artemis was the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's like a mob kingpin. He's like a crazy psycho murderer. But
well, if there's any hotshot Hollywood producers,
that is very good.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad you like it. Kathleen Kennedy, reach out.
Yeah, I heard you're not doing Star Wars anymore.
Oh my God. That's the actual thing I got wrong last episode. Speaking of things I always get wrong about Jurassic Park, turns out she's not leaving. We recorded that episode in like the 24-hour period when it seemed like she was leaving Lucasfilm, but now she says she's not.
Right. She's going to
stay
help her successor, right?
Was that the line?
I thought that was something about like, she's going to be like train her successor and then eventually step aside.
Here's what you do, Kathleen. Cyber world. Reach out.
Park Cyber.
Call Jeff. Call me.
Yeah, you gotta get Jeff. Jeff's 72 years old. Can you believe that?
No.
That is crazy.
He looks better than ever.
I know. He looks great.
He looks better now than he looked in The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Dude, for real. I did watch an interview with him on Conan, I think, or it was one of the late night shows. And they were like, "You're always in shape. Like, what do you do?" And he's like, "Well, I am vain. So I do." He's like, "I know I'm going to be on camera. I know." So he's like, "I keep in shape." So I was like,
works really hard at it.
Thank you for admitting that.
Fucking tries really hard. Cares. Yeah. Good for him.
I thought that was great. I did want to talk about the kids. You see that this is the last time you'll see these kids in this Jurassic World. You don't see them in any other.
Goldblum's daughter?
No, not Gold. Well, yeah, her and Lex and Tim from the first movie.
Oh yeah, they are.
There's a scene where
that's so weird. Where Malcolm comes to meet Hammond in this mansion.
Yeah, and
the grandkids Lex and Tim are there, and they hug Malcolm.
Yeah, and then the girl just like is staring off into the corner, like very weirdly
in the background.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to establish that she's scared of the new guy, her uncle. I think it's her uncle because I was trying to figure out what their family dynamic is because the Ludlow, the bad guy of this movie, is John Hammond's nephew because he keeps referring to him as his uncle.
Correct.
But is he the kids' parent? Is he the kids' dad? Because that wouldn't work out, would it? Family wise.
Well, if Hammond had a daughter and the daughter married Ludlow,
yeah,
maybe it's like nephew.
But that wouldn't be nephew.
No,
that wouldn't be nephew.
That's son-in-law.
So it would have to be his one of his kids' brother. It would have to be his brother's kid or his sister's kid, right? And that would make him his uncle.
Yeah, Hammond must have had a sibling.
So that's one of his siblings' kids who's taking over his business. And there's a deleted scene where he's like at the board of Engine and they like vote him out. That's a deleted scene in the DVD.
Was that a good scene?
No, it was too long. You can see why I got kicked out.
Is there another scene you would have cut?
Well, there is one scene with Roland, the hunter guy, where they establish him as like, because I think they're trying to make him more noble than the Robert Muldoon character. Because he's like,
they made him more brutal.
I mean, because I think that, at first, this deleted scene is definitely trying to make him more noble because it's like the guy, the Ajax guy, his lover, finding him and being like, hey, I have something we can hunt finally. Because they established that like, oh man, it was too easy when we were a team. We like killed everything and we wanted to. Like, there's no challenge left in the world. And that's so he talks Roland into coming to Jurassic World to get to T-Rex, and that's why he's so driven to do that. And in this deleted scene, there's like this British table. They're like in this bazaar in like Kenya or something, having food, and there's like this British table that's like harassing Kenyan waitress, and he comes up and he's just like, "You're not a gentleman, sir. I'd like to fight you." And he's like, and the British guy's like, "Oh, is that supposed to be an insult?" And he's like, I can think of no greater insult than not calling you not a gentleman. And like, and then he's like, oh, I could beat you with one hand tied behind my back. So Roland ties his hand behind his back and he fights this guy, and it's very comical. It's like, it's cartoony.
Okay.
And so they establish he's like an honorable, good dude who just can't, like, he's just like rudderless looking for a fight. And so like, that's how the guy, his lover tucks him into going to Jurassic Park. But then I think that is so juxtaposed to him stealing the baby dinosaur and using it as bait for the T-Rexes. So it doesn't really match up with like, is he a good dude or is he a bad dude? I mean, because they don't show any of the backstory in the movie. So you just see him as like kind of a bad dude.
Yeah, that's probably why they cut it.
Yeah. And then again, Vince Vaughn takes the baby T-Rex, like another bad move. Like, what a dumb move for this guy who's supposed to be their one weapon against the InGen people.
Can I tell you something, JD? I watched this movie like 3 hours ago. I do not remember this scene of Vince Vaughn and the baby dinosaur.
Yeah, so after they release all the dinosaurs from their cages, which is another funny Roland scene where he's like going through his like Rolodex of like what the dinosaurs are as they're trying to capture them.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, go after the one with the pompadour, Elvis. So he just cars, which I think is like, Spielberg's like I'm being funny here, like I'm making an Elvis reference, and he calls the one dinosaur that has like the bald patch, he calls it Friar Tuck,
bonehead.
That's like, oh, this is Spielberg thinking he's very funny. But anyway, so he has that whole moment, which is them trying to make him charming in a way that just doesn't play. So anyway,
I agree.
Yeah, so after they capture, and Vince Vaughn's character lets them all out, and then after they destroy their tents, their camp, they cut to Vince Vaughn wading through the water with the baby T-Rex, and then Sarah Harding's like, what are you doing? He's like, its leg is broken. And then they start setting it, and then
it's the trailer,
and that's a trailer scene,
and then the T-Rex comes on the trailer,
and which I think is
the window,
which leads to my next one. Do you know the sound the baby T-Rex is making is a baby camel sound?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So what because they talk about the soundscape. They're like, this is a great opportunity for us to do more. So you hear like a way more like bugs, like the whole like sound design team like really stepped up their game and made the ambient sound like way more.
That's interesting
than the last movie.
That was one of my criticisms of this movie, actually.
Oh, really?
Not the ambient sound, which I did not notice at all, but the I thought the T-Rex's roar was a little weak.
Interesting.
Like, especially in the San Diego part at the end when it's a really beautiful shot of the T-Rex and the skyline.
First of many.
It's really a beautiful movie. Spielberg.
T-Rex roars.
Yeah.
Scenes.
He's roaring all the time. But in this one, it was just like, I want to feel it. I feel like I've felt so many, like in the Godzilla movies lately, like some of those roars are like deep and like guttural. And this one was just kind of like.
Interesting.
Just wasn't feeling it.
I feel like you got a Spielberg. Are you bounding a Spielberg right now? Is that what's happening right now? Yeah, you kind of got a Spielberg-y look.
I don't know.
If you look in some of the background or the behind the scenes things, you got kind of a Spielberg thing going here.
Maybe I am.
Yeah.
Next time I'll show up even more Spielbergy.
It's funny because in the first one, he was like, I know I had to approach this as a kid. Like I didn't have to like, I wanted to bring that kid like energy to it. I don't think he brought that to this one. And it's funny because in the background or the behind the scenes of the first movie, he's like just in a t-shirt and jeans, directing the movie. Mm-hmm. It was like, I couldn't see Christopher Nolan, directing this movie, someone in a suit, directing this. And like, he was like, I was just a kid in there with the kids. And that's like, he was saying like, that's one of the reasons he gets such a good, acting performance out of the children is because he's just a kid too and he can relate to them.
Yeah. Did you think that he got a good acting performance?
Yeah,
out
that
of
first
kid?
one they're great. The kids are great.
One?
The second one, I mean, there was just the girl really, and she's already like in her teen years, so no longer the wonderment of a child.
I thought once again I did not need the kids.
Yeah, I mean the kid did seem really shoehorned in there. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the scene where she's like, "Oh, you're a bad dad." And then even when he gets mad, he's like, your mom left for Paris. Don't get that on me.
Yeah.
It's like, what a rich person's view of like what a bad mom would be. She left to Paris.
The other big moment for the kid was when the raptors attack later in the film.
Yeah, they set up that she got kicked off of the gymnastics team early on.
Which turns out to be crucial because Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, and this girl get themselves
stuck
caught
in a shack
that happens to have parallel bars in it.
Yeah. That are strong enough for her to be swinging around on.
So she, of course, does gymnastics.
You know what I did notice in the second viewing of it this week is that when she starts setting up for her acrobatics act, the dinosaur has not even jumped up to the second level yet. So there's no need for her to. She's
just jumping and spinning around.
Yeah, she just started doing it before.
As a distraction. She does it as a distraction, though.
Maybe.
I think
she's like, Jeff Goldblum's climbing up and she just like, looks at the bar and is like, I'm doing this.
This is my calling.
I think gymnastics were very popular in the late 90s because this is it reminded me of a scene from Batman and Forever where the Robin does like a gymnastics thing.
Well, Robin was a circus guy.
Yeah.
But again, maybe it's an excuse to get in the gymnastics.
Yeah.
Get it in there. Yeah, we need the gymnastics. This is Kathleen Kennedy. Stevie, baby, we need the gymnastics.
Yeah, the Summer Olympics are coming up. People love the gymnastics.
It was in Atlanta in 96.
Maybe that's, I think that's part of it. It was in the zeitgeist.
Spielberg sees two things in 96. He sees swingers and he sees the 96 Olympics.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah, but the T-Rexes come, and I think the Eddie Carr, the bald guy, this guy does so much to save
Richard Schiff.
Yeah, Richard Schiff does so much to save these people. I mean, like you are rooting for him.
Yes.
And then he dies the most brutal death.
He does.
He gets ripped in half by two T-Rexes.
Well, he's balding, and so he's bad.
But I mean, even in the first one, at least the guy's like a lawyer, and you're like, yeah, fuck lawyers.
Yeah.
The toilet he gets eaten. Yeah. And this one, this guy is doing everything right. Like he is doing everything he can do.
That is a good point. Because in the first one makes such a clear message with each character. Like Wayne Knight is like, he puts the shaving cream on the pie and you're like, this guy's a prick.
Yeah.
He deserves everything.
Yeah, he's a slob. You see his desk is all crazy and he's stealing from the company. So whatever.
But Schiff is righteous.
Schiff, he helps him with the tech. The only thing is he can't get that satellite phone working. Is that the big sin?
Turns out.
Because I think in the first one, obviously Spielberg hated lawyers, so that lawyer gets eaten. And is this one he like hates the tech crew? He's like, why can't this fucking phone work? This guy deserves to die.
You might say that The Lost World explores a morally gray area.
Yeah, for real. But I mean, I remember watching this with my uncle. All right, and when he hooks up the jack to the big trailer, my uncle goes, "There's no way he's going to be able to do that." And then when they show him like starting to like weave the car back and forth,
trying to get like the trailer that's hanging off a cliff.
The trailer starts coming back up. I remember my uncle going, "Hey, way to go!" Like my uncle was rooting for this guy. Yeah, we were into it, man. And then he fucking dies, dude. He's just doing everything he can, and he can't win.
It's a tragic death.
Yeah, it was a bad one. And then they try to be like, "Hey, that guy gave his life for us," but it was like, a run over moment.
Is that the coolest dino action? That's my
hold on to your butt moment right there. The guy's trying to save them.
the shift in the car.
Yeah.
You love
going
driving.
back and forth.
Of course, that's your hold on to your butt move.
Yeah, the car is the hero.
You love the
There's
car.
not a guy walking. All right. There's no e-bike pulling that baby up.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
That was great.
And the whole sequence of like, they got the baby sick.
They went away from Jeeps. They're on Mercedes.
I did notice that. You had me thinking about what kind of cars they're driving, and I did not give a shit.
But that whole trailer thing, I mean, and there's like a funny scene there too when they're like holding onto the rope, and he's like, "What do you guys need?" And they're like, "A cheeseburger, 3 cheeseburgers with everything." And then Vince Vaughn's like, "No onions on mine," and she's like, "And an apple turnover." Bad joke. Come on, Spielberg.
Not good.
That was all CG. That whole, the trailer falling while they're in the middle and stuff. Yeah, that was all CG.
I thought the CG was notably better in this one.
Yeah. And they're saying, I watched some behind the scenes footage of Spielberg talking about how the movie was way more expensive than the first Jurassic Park because they used so much more digital stuff.
Interesting. And made so much less money. It made like 2/3 the money.
Yeah. Can we talk about Jurassic World sitting at 53% on Rotten Tomatoes?
The Lost World : Jurassic Park.
Sorry. Yeah. It's 53 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's going to get complicated. We got to be clear.
Yeah. No one knows
53% on RT.
Yeah. The budget was $73 million. I wonder what it made. Do you know what it made?
Yeah, it made like 650 something.
I mean, it made a profit. It just didn't,
it made enough to make a third one, basically.
Yes, yeah.
But I think it underperformed, and Kathleen was probably grumpy for a few weeks, and then greenlit the third movie.
Yeah, she cried into all her money.
She said, "Steven, we love you, but I don't know if we need you to come back for the third one."
Steven, I don't think
Stevie baby,
I don't know. She told Steven he couldn't come back for the third one?
No, you're right. You're right. Spielberg was like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're not talking about that one. Sorry.
No, we're not talking about the third one. We're talking about The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Right. Yeah. What did you have anything else? Because I wanted to get to, you don't see the first raptor till like an hour and a half into the movie.
Yeah, that's personally for me, that's fine. You don't
like the raptors? I think I like the raptors more than the T-Rex.
That's a good question. They are the two most threatening dinos that we have been introduced to thus far. I thought that the raptors in the first movie were a little bit more like threatening, and then like he did more cool shit with them. Like they seemed more smart in the first movie.
Interesting.
In this one, did they open doors? Did they really do any like hunting tactics? Was there a clever
there was a
girl?
thing in the tall grass where they're running through and then they all converge on them.
Yeah.
That was a great scene. That was a good scene. That was very scary.
That was cool.
And sadly, that's where Ajax dies.
So sad.
And then Roland finds his pack. He goes, "It's his pack." He's like, Ajax didn't make it. I mean, they kept all that through the whole movie. I think there was a subplot. Well, not where they were a gay couple, but like they established they were like friends.
They're buds.
They had a relationship. Yeah.
They liked each other.
And his whole thing, he gets off the island. He makes it because at the end, the Ludwig character's like, "Hey, you have a job at the park. Like, I'll remember you for this." And he's
Ludlow?
like, "Yeah." Ludlow's telling him he wants him to be part of Jurassic Park. And he's like, "I've spent too much time in the company of death." And he just walks off all nobly. See, this character's all over the place. Is he noble or is he a piece of shit for taking the baby dinosaur and using it as bait? All he wants is to hunt a male Tyrannosaurus Rex for some reason. He kind of has the Ian Malcolm role where he's like has his monologues about like, "Hey, I'm done with fucking rich tourists."
You're talking about the not Ajax, but the bald guy, Roland.
Yeah,
Roland.
Yeah, the hunter guy.
So he wants to bag the male T-Rex. He's got his own mission.
You think he's a good guy or bad guy? What's your takeaway?
Bad guy.
Bad guy.
Of course.
He bad guy.
Yeah, he bad. He very bad.
I think he's morally gray.
You gave your hold onto your butts moment.
Yeah, that was the car.
I have two. One is kind of connected to the car, which is when so I guess I'm not picking this, but I want to talk about it because I thought it was just a really nice shot and like made me excited. The beginning of the first double T-Rex attack, the TT-Rex trailer attack, where they're taking care of the hurt baby T-Rex, and then you hear a sound, and then the T-Rex just like appears behind the window, and you're like, "Fuck, it's right there." That was like, "Woo, hold on to your butts."
It is very funny because someone pointed out in something I was watching where it's like they use that shot like 3 different times in the movie.
They do.
But it's because of the constraints of the animatronic they had, or like the actual like puppet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's so good, you want to be able to use it, but you also can't reveal more than that, because then you see how fake it is. So it has to come down in a window. They do like 3 different window scenes like that with the T-Rex. And then they also do something where the T-Rex like pops its nose into something. Yeah, the tent. And there's something
basically the same.
And the waterfall. There's a waterfall moment in the waterfall.
Book. All of them are the same.
Yeah.
The same general. I mean,
they were the best you could do with what they had. I mean, I wouldn't have noticed it if somebody else wouldn't have pointed it out. But it's also like, oh yeah, they did use it the same way, 3 different. But I mean, that's the best you could do. He did the best. I think that's doing it at the highest level, which I'm not shitting on it for. But also, it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's all they could do. Is like it has to poke its head through something, or like be behind a window or something, and you shine a light on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, the first movie gets so much. People talk about it as like a achievement in special effects, because of the animatronics and the digital and how they're used together. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the second movie is when the digital really started outpacing the animatronics, and the animatronics, you started to see those limitations.
But I still think at this point, they're still using a good mix of both, which in the next one, in Jurassic World, they totally, it's all digital.
It's all digital.
And I think it loses something.
Yeah, that makes sense though. I mean, that was the way things were going in the early 2000s.
But again, when the Fantastic Beasts movies came, I think that's when they realized they had to. That's when they had
Fantastic Beasts.
I revolutionized the fucking digital.
You are alone on this. I've never heard this before.
Talk to the dozens of crew workers on the Fantastic Beasts movies. Okay, they will agree with me.
Sure. Yeah.
You have to bring the practical and the digital together. I think that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's the first big budget movie to do it again.
In
a big way.
You talked to me about this last time.
Yeah.
People can listen to the first episode again. Great episode.
But I have to reiterate to you because you don't remember.
I don't remember anything. I continue to forget things about this franchise as we're doing this. Yeah. I'm forgetting as fast as I'm refreshing myself.
It's okay.
And that's, you know what? Hold on to your butts. We're all on the ride together. So we've done hold on to your butts moments. No, I only gave one of mine. My other one is the first in-gen Dino capture.
Okay.
Which was when I was like, oh, this is a new dynamic.
Right.
They're trying to get these dinos and take them somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And then Malcolm sort of started to come around to how Hammond was thinking about the island. At least like maybe taking more of the dinos are animals and like living beings and should be respected. That side of things, instead of just like this was an abomination.
Right.
And I thought that was really good. That was like, whoa.
Yeah, when they brought down those 2 like that fork thing and then the airbags deployed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The airbags deployed, and then there was the chase where there was a Jeep and there was the cars the seats that popped out the sides.
Like the turtles.
Yeah.
Did that remind you of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That's what it reminded me of was the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, where they did the same exact fucking bit with Finn Wolfhard popping out the side of the Ghostbuster car.
Finn Wolfhard.
Was it?
Yeah, dude.
You're a wolf head?
When Wolfhardt's my boy. I'm a Wolfhard.
Sure. Great.
I hope he's not a minor still.
Quick Google. Finn Wolfhard.
I think he's like 21 now.
He's probably 21. He's 22.
Yeah, I'm Wolfhard, everybody. Barely legal.
Oh boy. There was another line I wanted to talk about when Ludlow was revealing his plot. When it's so like the crew of like vaguely military dudes have showed up and they set up a tent and all their gear. And he's first saying, I don't know even who he's explaining this to, but he's like
the investors. He keeps having random nighttime investors meetings. Yeah.
The investors who apparently are like, don't know anything about the first attempt, like wholly different investors.
And I think it's the same investors because in the deleted scene, he's talking to these investors and he's talking about how the company's just been hemorrhaging money because they're paying out all these people that died
since the Plan A incident.
They've been.
But the whole premise of the first movie is that it's an insurance liability expedition to determine what the liability of the park is.
Yeah.
And the investors need these experts who are impartial to go and evaluate that. And then they go and they find that it is not safe whatsoever.
Right.
So why are these investors on Ludlow's side?
Well, because they think if they get a live dinosaur and bring it back to the mainland and use that as an attraction that will start generating money for the company versus
but it's still
just hemorrhaging.
Unsafe though, right? I mean, maybe they're just stupid.
Well, they think if they bring it to a zoo in San Diego where they have like half of a zoo built already, it'll be quote unquote safer. I mean, that's all kind of set up in that deleted scene. I don't know how much you get in the regular movie from it.
Anyway, that whole thing leads up to one of my favorite lines of the movie, which was Ludlow. He's saying, people already associate our city with animal attractions. He's talking about San Diego. And he says, the San Diego Zoo, SeaWorld, the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, that's very funny.
An animal attraction? The San Diego Chargers?
Is he calling football players animals?
Yeah, what the fuck is that? What are you talking about? I think
that's just him being a British snob being like...
I guess that's true, and that's good characterization, actually.
Yeah, and that
he's dehumanizing
ill-fitting
people.
Suit is terrible. And I like how... and there's also a bunch of scenes where like there's a close-up on the characters, and then Ian Malcolm's face just comes in out of frame, and he like delivers a line, because there's like... Because he like is... When the dinosaur breaks out of the boat and starts wreaking havoc on the city, he's like, oh my God, what have I done? And like Ian Malcolm's face, Jeff Goldblum's face comes in out of frame. He goes, now you're John Hammond.
Yeah.
And that happens like 3 different times in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's got sequelitis. It's the same, but different. And it's different.
The hide, very fun as a like concept for the movie.
The hide?
Yeah, it's where they get pulled up into the trees.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the hide was fun as a kid. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah,
the idea is that they would be able to hide
at
a safe distance to observe the animals at the top.
They abandon it immediately.
Yeah, then there's another joke that's played where he's like trying to tell him how to rappel down. He's like, the tighter you squeeze, the slower you go. He's like, I got it. And then you just hear him fall directly to the bottom of the... That's like a Foley joke. He's like, should have held on harder.
Yeah. Julianne Moore?
Do you like her?
Yeah.
I didn't like her as a Laura Dern substitute.
Yeah, I still don't. I just find it so weird that they didn't use Sam Neill and Laura Dern.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't come back. Or I don't know if like
Julianne Moore is a paleontologist. Like, I mean, don't you want your stars back?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing other projects or it just, sometimes Spielberg just didn't want to use them again.
I tried to look into this and apparently, and this is according to Screen Rant, but it says that the Lost World novel didn't have roles for either of the former stars and only made mention of what they were up to. And Spielberg and Kopp's screenplay took the same approach.
Yeah, because apparently
which is not the whole story whatsoever.
Yeah, I just started the Lost World book.
Yeah.
Ian Malcolm and Sarah Harding are in it, but so far, no Alan Grant.
So Sarah Harding is the Julianne Moore.
Yeah. But I heard that the movie didn't even really go by what the book story, Lost World book and Lost World movie are 2 different stories, basically.
Yeah.
So you could have brought him back, but I could see how Spielberg's just like, I got bigger dinos to deal with.
Yeah, the Lost World movie kind of took bits from the first movie. Yeah. Or from the first book, I mean.
Yeah.
Like the idea of a baby dino that needs to be like
taken care of. Yeah, that's in the first book.
Lifted. And then the other thing was just the scene, which was such a great opening for this movie.
Right,
like,
yeah.
On this scene, I was locked in. There's a scene of a wealthy family on the beach of what we learn is a different island, Isla Sorna, a.k.a. I sorta wish we were back on the island.
Gotcha.
Thank you. And this family of like wealthy people, they have some servants and stuff, and then a little girl goes off and around, and then she gets attacked.
In the book, it's an American family.
Oh yeah,
movie,
that's true.
British family. Don't fuck with us. It's an American making the movie, bitch.
For an American audience, we like to see the British people.
Yeah, colonize this motherfucker.
Go down.
Yeah. Do you think the little girl died?
I'm not co-signing that, by the way. That's a you thing. Yeah, that's a you thing. Do I think the little girl died?
Yeah, because there's an argument. Because at the beginning, mom runs up, screams. Yeah, stops what she's doing and screams, which you wouldn't do if your kid's still alive. I don't think. I think you'd be running after it to save your child.
Well, you would if there was like a big old bite out of her face.
I don't think you'd stop and scream. You'd be trying to help them. Again, 2 non-parents though.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
But I think, they set it up so badass. Metal scene, little kid dies. to immediately 10 minutes later be like, oh, she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
John Hammond waves it off being like, oh, she's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that undercut the moment?
No. I thought it was a cool
Little girl
moment.
also survives in the book. So
that's true. That's true. It was a good scene in the book. Great scene in this second movie.
Which is funny because Spielberg thought that was too hard to go in the first movie. So he saved it or they used it in the second movie. And they used a different kill scene at the beginning of the movie. Totally made up raptor kill scene.
Of the second movie?
In the first movie, the raptor's kill scene is made up for that movie. That didn't happen in the book.
Didn't we just talk about that with Evan?
I mean, there's
like something like that.
There's something like that, but they didn't show a scene of where that guy gets ripped up.
Right.
They just have in the book, the aftermath is he's already going to the hospital and he's all ripped up and the doctor's like, what the fuck happened? And they're trying to say it was just like a construction accident. But anyway.
All this to say, Julianne Moore's great.
Oh, I thought you were saying she wasn't good.
No, I thought she was fine.
I didn't like her character. It was like too much like boring. She's all over the place and like what is she's trying to prove that predators still cared about their young.
Yeah, I guess her motivation is
proof.
She's a paleontologist and she's got the same like awe in like real live dinosaurs that Grant and Sattler did in the first one.
Yeah. She's like both of them in one kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she sought out Ian Malcolm when he was talking because the whole setup for the first part of the movie is that he's been discredited as a scientist because he broke his NDA and spoke out about what happened on Isla Nublar, and so he's been discredited and he's like broke and hard out. But they set up that Sarah Harding had like sought him out in that Costa Rican hospital and like got his story and then went somewhere else and confirmed it, and then she started up a relationship with him, so like kind of this weird like femme fatale kind of vibe. I felt like
she liked the bad boy.
Yeah, and she was like pursuing him in a way.
Interesting.
And like kind of, I don't know, it seemed like weird at that way they introduced it.
It is a little weird.
And then he's like, I'm going to save her.
Though I'm going to save her part, I also wrote down, I have something on that, which was, you sent my girlfriend to this island alone. Malcolm says this to Hammond at the beginning. And I'm like, you didn't know your girlfriend was going on a trip to South America?
Yeah, it's like they're in a relationship, but then they are not like, yeah, he's met his daughter, but he hasn't met her parents. Yeah. Because like they're arguing about that in the trailer a little bit. Yeah.
It's like, what is this relationship?
Yeah, it's all over the place.
And then at the end, there's nothing about it. They just are sort of like, do they kiss at the end?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't recall a kiss of them at all.
It's not.
Did you feel any romantic sparks between them?
No.
Yeah, me either. Really.
I didn't like Jeff Goldblum. I mean, I didn't like Jeff Goldblum as the lead. Okay. I didn't like Julianne Moore is fine, but Laura Dern is right there.
Yeah, way better.
And Sam Neill there.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum I don't think is a good lead. Although, I mean, I saw The Fly. It was fine. Yeah, it wasn't a good role for him. It was
great.
I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't like body horror shit.
Yeah, okay, then you wouldn't like it. Did we do best dino action?
I think, yeah.
Did you say your best? What's your best dino action?
It was the same as my hold on to your butt moment.
Oh, you're giving both? Wow. That's unprecedented.
Is it?
He's giving his hold on to your butts moment and his best dino action to the same moment.
I mean, that was a good scene. That guy was trying so hard, still died.
Good scene. You love
But also,
cars.
I mean, I did like where the raptors are like chasing them all around that little like enclosure, and the raptor's like pushing its snout through the window of the door.
Yeah.
That one just really stood out to me because it's like it's trying so hard, and it's like getting, you just see it getting further and further in. It just like won't stop.
Yeah, that was cool. The other raptor bit that I liked was Julianne Moore and the little girl are trying to like scoop out the dirt so they can get under the wood, and then a raptor pops its head in there.
Yeah.
I jumped when I saw that.
Oh, interesting.
That was a little jump for me. But that's not my best dino action.
Okay. Go for it.
My best dino action is my favorite kill of the movie, which is Peter Stormare. Peter Stormare is
Roland.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, his name's Pete something, so sorry.
Dieter Stark is his character's name, it looks like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Peter Stormare is the actor who just got this kind of mouth, where it's kind of closed on the sides always. What are you chucking your bed? Are you trying to do a prison break?
Okay.
That's I don't know. That's my take on Peter Stormare.
Okay.
But he plays a great bad guy, and he like tortures one of the compies early on with the little taser thing, and he shocks him. Yep. And the other guy's like, they don't have any reason to fear humans. And then Stormare's like, now they do. Zap.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy's a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
So then later on, the best dino action for me in the movie is when he goes off on his own in a creek, and then what pops out? A whole bunch of these little tiny compies.
Right.
And he's being a dick, but then they swarm him, and then he sort of gets away, and then one of them gets his lip.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, very visceral.
Fuck, that rules. So good. You hated that guy in that moment, and then to see those little guys kind of swarm him and just take him out, it was like, yes.
Yeah, it's very
great dino action.
Yeah, crazy how they kept cutting back to him too, and each time he's just like more worn down, and they're just chasing him down. You know?
Just sort of like attrition. It's like
this, and there's more of them every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas like with raptors, like you kind of after the first movie, like you know how they're gonna get at you. The T-Rex, like you know what they're gonna do. The compies were like that was fresh.
Yeah, that was good.
Like lots of little guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Versus one.
It's a different kind of horror. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. That was a good kill. That was a good kill.
Great.
What I thought was funny is his Mexican friend who's like, I'm going to take a piss, Carter.
Yeah.
The Mexican guy's named Carter. And the guy's listening to fucking headphones.
What do you think he's listening to?
Well, he starts singing something and he says Llorona. So he's probably listening to the Coco soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What else we got? What else we gonna hit?
His death is pretty cool too, where the T-Rex, he's like screaming and the T-Rex just stamps on him, and it drags him for like 3 steps.
I like that.
That was a good one.
We talked about Vince Vaughn. We talked about Richard Schiff, Julianne Moore. We talked about the Peter Stormare, the bad dude that you think is
his death. The little baby T-Rex gets him.
I like
the
that.
Ludwig, and they like shoot it as if the big T-Rex is like, yeah, go ahead, kill him, go on, like you can do it, and then it like proudly watches him eat this dude alive,
which they also do at the end with Ludlow.
Well, I thought I was talking about the Ludlow death. I guess that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay, then I love
the baby
that.
T-Rex eats him.
I love that. Oh my god, the baby T-Rex is the one who takes the villain down at the end, and the T-Rex watches. You're exactly right.
Yeah, they definitely made Ludlow more of
satisfying
the characterization of Hammond in the book. He's more of like, I never learned my lesson. I'm constantly pushing, like, I'll get it right next time, or I can fix this. Because even when he's like, yeah, shoot the big T-Rex, but keep the baby for me. Like, he's like,
yeah. Like, there's a chance.
Yeah. But then the last ridiculous thing I can think of in the movie is, so the T-Rex is on this boat coming to San Diego, and everybody's dead on this boat.
Same thought. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But the boat, it's still in its like enclosure, and in the control center, which is a small little room, everybody's arms are ripped off and shit.
The only hints we have of the crew are 2
severed
disembodied arms.
Yeah.
One of them is attached to this wheel of the ship.
Yeah.
So what are we? What happened to that person?
We're to believe that the
T-Rex got out.
I guess it's possible the baby T-Rex did it, I guess. But
the baby T-Rex who was deeply sedated.
Right, yeah. It was already in a different location, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't another. It was just the big one.
It didn't come over on the boat.
It's only the big T-Rex.
Yeah, only the big T-Rex.
So the big T-Rex, we're led to believe, somehow got out of the enclosure,
killed everyone on the ship.
Someone who was hand on the wheel.
Yeah.
Chomped him, ate him.
Yeah, got into the control room without destroying it.
Gets back in the enclosure.
Gets back in the enclosure. And rams into the San Diego harbor.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Where they're having another impromptu investors meeting, I thought.
I guess so. A nighttime investors meeting. You're going to want to see this, guys.
Yeah. Another just ridiculous thing.
How about the whole San Diego incident? What did you think about it?
Great car. What's his name? Jeff Goldblum had a good car. Just out of the blue.
Convertible.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know what kind of car it was. I think it was like a T-Bird or something.
I liked the shot that I found. Well, I guess I have 2 things. There's 2 shots I thought were noticeable. One was the kill on the guy that I thought looked like Edward Norton. Did you think that was Edward Norton? I didn't actually Google that.
What guy? Or which one? What death?
It was like the one guy who died, the T-Rex killed in San Diego when it was just going on rampaging through.
I do think they did a reverse save the cat moment when the T-Rex ate the dog. Then you're like, yeah, this T-Rex is a villain.
That was cool.
Not the save. That was not cool. I would hate that.
Cool. I thought it was cool.
Little boy moment, also a little too much. Waking up his parents, bringing him over, and they're being like, "Come on, he needs a nightlight." Blah blah blah.
I think Edward Norton is in.
I see an Edward Norton looking guy here. It says Tim Murphy.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Joseph Mazzulo. I don't know what. I can't recall the death though.
Yeah, it was pretty brief and nondescript, and it was like not like it wasn't a moment where you could see the guy's face very well. It was just like, is that Edward Norton? So listeners, write in if you know it was Edward Norton.
But then they break into when he's running through the neighborhood. There's like a Blockbuster moment where it busts into a Blockbuster, and there's a fun moment where you see there's a poster or a cardboard cutout for a movie called Jack and the Beanstalk, and it's got Robin Williams.
Yeah,
and there's one called like Tsunami Surfer.
Yeah,
and that's Tom Hanks.
Oh, I'm glad you caught those because those flashed by and I was like, I wanted to know.
And it's fun because there's like Last Action Hero where it's a Schwarzenegger movie, and they go into like a Blockbuster, and they have a cardboard cutout of Sylvester Stallone as the Terminator.
Oh,
and it's like a fun little alternate universe little thing.
That.
Yeah, I do love those movies.
That's
or moments
90s.
in movies when they do that.
90s as fuck.
Yeah,
going into a Blockbuster.
Yeah,
the alternate universes thing, but just like the existence of a Blockbuster is.
Yeah.
Now it'd be T-Rex watching friggin' Netflix.
Eat the Netflix. Yeah, it would be couple in-house watching Netflix, and it'd be like a dumb show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then the T-Rex would eat, it'd be Bridgerton, and the diner would eat the dog right by, like in their back door or whatever. You could see through the screen door.
Oh, and just the way the world is now. The T-Rex would have to eat the dog while the couple's watching Netflix.
Yeah. Where we at? Or it could be, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah. The other shot I liked in the San Diego incident was the obvious Godzilla illusion. So the T-Rex is running down a street. It's a big friggin' dino in a city. You're thinking Godzilla already. I was, at least. And there's a shot of 4 Japanese businessmen who look back and scream. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's me being prejudiced or something, but I was like, this is Godzilla.
Yeah, I think
Spielberg is doing Godzilla.
He talks about Godzilla and King Kong being a big influence. And even in like the score, he was saying that John Williams brought in more King Kong stuff on the island.
Cool.
Which I wanted the pure Jurassic Park theme, but there was more like, I don't know, jungle beats, I felt like, in this one.
They were very restrained with the score.
I mean, I heard it. When I heard it, I heard it.
It popped in. They gave us a couple of moments with Malcolm. They gave us one that was like very like a soft version of it when he agrees to go to the island for the rescue mission of his girlfriend. And then, but like the whole San Diego thing, it's just like, it didn't really feel very Jurassic Parky. It's like it was Godzilla.
Yeah. You're giving such Spielberg vibes right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a hat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a great hat, huh? Topo Designs, hell of a company.
Anyway, moving on.
What else you got?
That's about it for me. I think we've reached the
maybe
the end of what I was thinking.
I've said the moment when I realized I saw this before. The little kid kills the raptors with gymnastics. Ridiculous.
I don't know if it killed. Oh yeah, because they show up. It got like skewered by something outside. It like landed on something.
I mean,
like a spear.
She friggin' kicks it through a window out of a second floor, and she kills it. The little kid kills a raptor. I got 2 things. I have a take on the credits again, which we've actually already talked about Kathleen Kennedy. But here's my question for you: the question posed by the movie to me is: Jurassic Park has been built. It is a disaster. Ian Malcolm gets back. The world doesn't agree. No one believes him. Dinos exist. They're on this island. What should be done with these dinos?
I think they should just leave them alone. Like Heyman says at the end, that they require our absence.
But just wouldn't they escape?
Bomb everything.
There's pterodactyls in that last scene.
Yeah,
they fly. You can't just leave them.
You got to bomb them. Get rid of them. They're too much of a...
swinging all the way back from one end to the other.
Yeah, never mind.
Leave them.
Let's get rid of them. Too much of a threat.
I honestly don't know what I think. What about like how to... Like what... They're there.
They're not natural. They fucked up.
I guess I would think that the right thing to do would be to like build a proper enclosure for them. Like maybe
You
a nature
can't.
preserve that where they can be.
I think that's the whole point of these movies. You can't cage them.
I know. Ugh. And they make this point every time. The dinos get out. They terrorize you.
Yep.
The raptors chase you through corridors. The compies bite your lip. The T-Rex baby eats your boss.
Yeah.
The Lost World?
The Lost World, everybody.
Wow. Would you say that life found a way?
Oh, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Well,
again, I mean, I'm saying this, not my favorite one. This might be my least favorite of all 6 so
really?
far.
That's a good sign, though, because I thought this one was fine. I didn't love it. I'm looking forward to some more creativity.
We'll get more into it on the next movie, but I think that's where the Jurassic Park thrives, is when it's more about people trapped on it's a smaller story. Because this whole thing, they're 2 teams. I'm trying to capture them to, exploit them more. There's too much. It gets into, it goes to the mainland and destroys a bunch of stuff. It's just too much going on.
Okay. Well, next time on Hold On to Your Butts, we'll watch Jurassic Park 3 and talk about
Jurassic Park 3.
See you next
Bring
time.
back Sam Neill.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can see him in the poster, so.
Well, it shows what posters I've been looking at.
Yeah, I guess.
Not this one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited for you to see it, and we can talk about it. All right. Well, hold on to your butts, everybody. Life finds a pod. Maybe say something for the listener.
Bye. Oh, shit.
Hold On to Your Butts is a left hand, right brain production. Produced by JD Lopez.